If you watch the best knee cut artists, there's probably 3 top knee cut artists. You got Lucas Lepre, Leandro Lo, R.I.P. Leandro, and then Romulo. And usually one thing in common those guys all have is that they're always adjusting. You know, Lucas, I feel like he uses more of his hips. You know, oh, he got you, boom. It's never really a big move. Maybe even Leandro, he would do bigger movements. But it's all in the setup, you know? It was never just one setup and then they went. It was probably like 20 micro adjustments. And that just goes back to this, guys. All right, guys, we're gonna be looking at some Romulo guard passing. You know, it could be from the headquarters. It could be from like a higher position. It could be from like stuffing the leg. So usually he's gonna get this cross collar grip. All right, and it's something I've experimented with a lot over the years, but something he doesn't really get too deep. I feel like that opens your, he can bump or get that foot on my hip. You know, I turn this way some way. Yeah, I feel like if you get too deep, because I'm reaching, maybe, you know, Romulo's a pretty lanky guy, so he can get that a little bit easier. But for me, I start creating space and distance. All right, so instead of getting a deep grip, we're gonna go more like on his pec. All right, and you guys see a little bit closer to my body. I can keep my elbow down versus reaching out, you know. Okay, from here, and he just goes straight into his knee cut. But something I realized, he doesn't go just straight here. I mean, if I can get here, that would be awesome. But usually, you know, somebody's gonna have his knee shield in or something. Like he's trying to block, yeah, exactly. So instead of coming like straight up, because, you know, I'm kind of fighting that knee, instead, it's almost like he's gonna hammer down on the leg, the bottom leg. All right. From here, you know, even if Sinway has his knee in, I can start working my grip up higher now. And another big detail, you guys can almost see the notes on here. I can start using an active post. Made a mess. I can start using my other hand as an active post, okay? So what that means is I use that to help me adjust my upper body, all right? And the last detail, when I started getting that grip up higher, I'm gonna start using it, we call this a face crank, basically a cross face, using my forearm, all right? So my post is helping me drive. And you see how he still has his knee shield in? I'm just gonna move myself up higher and higher and higher and let his leg go back. Come behind me, Ed. You know, if I stay here, eventually he's gonna push me away. So my leg's helping me by basing. I have my active post with my other hand. Face crank, going with the forearm. And all I do is start driving forward and bring my hips forward. But I don't want to stay here because usually he's going to try to switch to the back grip. You know, all my half guard guys, they're going to try to do that kind of stuff, yeah. Okay, so I'm here. As soon as I clear his knee shield, I bring my hip back. So I start driving using my leg, all right? If someone tries to move, you know, the face crank should be pinning him too, all right? From here, we have a lot of different moves, but just realize, if Romulo gets this grip, usually that second grip's gonna come. You know, it could be with the face crank, even with the underhook sometimes, or say, you know, maybe he gets underhook on me. If you feel comfortable fighting here, you can, but kind of like the old school way of beating this position, I'm gonna go to a cross face, okay? So switch your arms, and I really wanna establish a good grip on his back. And, you know, even if I can't get the underhook on him, I can go over, and I'm gonna start turning in. So as I turn in, I really got to move my knee. So I come over the top. I really got to start moving my knee because that's kind of what drives my technique, my movement here. So I move my knee up, and I'm going to start driving my hip into Evan. All right, so I'm getting that cross face. If I want to, I can hold his belt, you know, and really driving my shoulder into his face, okay? All right, so this is the turn in. Usually, he's gonna really focus on the hip. That's what makes it really different. So I'm moving Evan's head that way, and I'm pulling his hip towards me for a chiropractor stretch. All right, don't mean to be hurting Evan, but I'm turning his upper body that way, guys. Lower body comes this way, and what happens is he can't hold my leg anymore. Cross face. Just make sure you're not too high up because he's gonna pop out, right? So that's a very common theme of moving my hips back, moving my body back, cross face, control the back, and I lead with my knee movement. So I'm turning my knee up. All right. Something Romulo does here, like say, he's kind of in a stalemate, he'll start to triangle his leg. And that kind of keeps Evan from using like a big half guard movement, like to open me up. So he'll just sit here and triangle. Keep your legs safe, especially if you feel like the guy's going to do maybe like the lockdown or something. So instead of dealing with that, can you get the lockdown now, Evan? Pretty tough. Say I have an underhook, get the cross face. I can start passing, boom. But say Evan wants to recover his guard. Yeah, get your guard, like half guard or something.
Oh, half guard.
Say he recovers. And what do you guys think happens if I pass again? So I just scored twice, right? I got 6 points, right? 3 and 3. So something Romulo does, very smart for a competitor, is he'll make sure he starts racking up points early, especially when he starts passing. He's not going to pass you once. He'll start adding to the score count, okay? And that does 2 things. 1, gives him a good lead. And then 2, I think psychologically, if you feel like you're down, you start seeing 6, 8, 9, you see the score going higher. And then usually the guy on bottom is going to be either self-defeated, he's like, damn, I'm losing. I lost this already, or he's going to get angsty and start making big movements, okay, which helps us with our submissions. So I consider this like a standard grip. So, most people are in a De La Riva, they push this leg down and they grab this collar, right, before they do their knee cut. Left hand's on the pant, right hand on the collar, all right? So one thing Romulo does, he will pass like this, at least to stuff this leg down. But his main grip's gonna be what I call the reverse grip. So left hand that was on the pant goes to the collar, right hand on the collar goes to the pant, all right? And when I go on the pant, I'm not gonna go on the knee, doesn't really give me a lot of control. I'm gonna go on the shin and more directly in front of the shin, all right? So I call this a reverse grip. And when he starts to cut, works really well, especially if like Evan starts to bring that knee shield in. So say I got here, this is when I would switch to that reverse grip, all right? And especially if that knee shield's in the way, I can start opening, come behind me, Ed. I'll take my time, I'll switch and get that grip. And something I'm doing too, I'm bringing this other leg in close to help me make that grip switch. So I'm kind of posting off my knee with my elbow. And I just think it makes it tighter because if I leave space, he might be able to get that bottom leg through, or just stay there for like a keymaster guard. And if I stay here, that arm's either there or omoplata or something. Yeah. When I make that switch, I bring my leg in closer, my arm's on top of my leg, okay? So you can't bring that leg out, that bottom leg, you guys see? Switch to the pant grip. And from here, I start to open. So I start driving down, and I'm trying to get my chest to his chest. All right. The whole time I'm doing my knee cut, I'm also not trying to cut at like a crazy angle. I'm not trying to cut away and turn my back. I'm trying to get my knee kind of close to his hip. All right. There. Even if he gets the underhook, that's okay. Look, I switched to that turn-in position. So I go cross face. And usually I'll do it at the same time. I'll go cross face, and then look, I go for the hip control. All right, from here, chiropractor stretch, all right, guys? So again, if he's looking that way, that's not the right position. Yeah, sorry, I'm missing the collar. If he's looking that way, that's not the right position. I gotta get his head going opposite while I pull his hip. And one little detail I don't think I mentioned, I really drive with my back leg. So if Ed will move to my back leg, you see this leg, Ed? Yeah, I start, woo, yeah. So I'm trying to transfer all the force from the ground into his neck. And hopefully he turns, right? Another thing I can do from there is, I don't do it too often, but I should. I don't want Eugene, put the camera on Eugene. I actually don't want him to do this, but say the guy is like really, he's really strong and I'm having trouble opening. One thing we can do, instead of fighting really low, you see how I'm kind of low with my legs, my hips? I'm gonna go up on my feet, and I'm gonna drive down with my head, okay? So to be nice, the nice version of this, I post my head on like his chest, but Romulo will put that head on your neck, okay, his forehead. So my nice version is here, and then I can start opening and cut. The mean version is like right in there, yeah. And you see he gets the head turning, and he's pulling the collar, and that is pretty terrible. This is something I just kind of named myself. I don't think Romulo has a name for it. But anytime he's doing a knee cut and his partner goes for the single leg grip and tries to come up, okay? One thing Romulo does, he'll always look to establish a grip on the back. I mean, you can put your hand on the floor, but then your weight's off of your partner, right? So my hand's gonna go on his back. You know, it could be one or two hands. And the other thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start switching my knees, my legs. So I'm gonna bring the knee that's down, I'm gonna bring it up into his armpit almost. So if Sinway tries to go back, try to shrimp, can you shrimp back? Okay, so he's trying to create space so he can get his single leg and come up, right? So instead, I'm fighting him with my knee. Knee goes close to his belt, almost into his armpit, his hip area. And I have a grip on his back, driving him down, all right? And this can kind of suck sometimes, especially if he's really strong. You got to keep driving your knee, okay? I'm not saying it's not impossible for him to stand up, but usually it's gonna be rough, okay? And if he's here, once he gets tired, look, we go back for the face crank. And sometimes I can just pass with the face crank too, especially if I can get his face looking across, almost his chin on the floor. I clear my back leg, I can go knee on belly. Especially if he can't get the underhook, it's just kind of tough. One thing he'll do, usually with the collar grip, fed around the back. Like he can't get the underhook or anything. A lot of times he'll go with his head on the floor and post it under the armpit, okay? From here, I'm gonna go into a tripod. And as I tripod, I'm gonna drive my shoulder into his neck. How do you feel, Simway? Yes, you know, sometimes it's like a Von Flu choke. So if he turns, he kind of needs to turn his head a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So I can start tripoding, and we'll look at this later, but he can start pummeling to clear, or he can go to 3/4 mount. You know, this Jiu-Jitsu 101, right? Big Rob was doing this the other day. Get the underhook, leg pummel. Now, your knee should not be static. Your knee should be, it should be moving with your body, with your needs, you know? Yeah, your knee should, usually my knee's just here. one of these directions, very rarely going out like this, okay? So think about your knee alignment. I always think like, you know, how we teach how you do a shot. You know, you drive your knee straight. Very rarely do we do like a cut. And when we do a cut, it's usually like, it's like you post your knee and then you'll switch, right? So usually, you know, anytime he's going for like 3/4 mount, so 3/4 mount is almost like the knee drive, but I'm trying to go my knee to the floor instead. Okay, from here, the leg pummel, you know, usually we're gonna do it with the underhook. And then I'm bringing the free leg under, like on top of his leg, okay? You know, it depends. Usually, you know, if he's got it really tight, it might be kind of hard to get out of this. But just think about, you're just trying to open up the space. And to help me open up the space, I really got to fight his upper body. You know, I really have to fight his upper body. And what I'm trying to do, guys, I'm trying not to go so much on his thigh. I try to aim for more of the crook of the knee. Can you go behind me, Ed? Yeah, I'm aiming more for that crook of the knee and use that to help me slide out, either to mount or knee on belly, all right? But just realize it's not a quick process. Usually, you know, it's like you're trying that's not working. Maybe you have to switch back to your knee cut. Okay, so don't just think one pass is gonna work. Sometimes you're over here doing the chiropractor, that's not working. You know, I had to switch back to the face crank. So it's gonna take a lot of different options, you know? And then maybe when I come back, I can get the leg pummel, okay? But if one guard pass isn't working, don't feel bad. Usually, I think when I'm passing, or even Romulo's, like a few passes put together. You know, I don't know the exact number, but usually it's not one. It's maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on, bro, let me pass. 9, 10. Okay, 11, got him. Your half guard player is gonna get there. Underhook. Romulo's gonna start attacking that arm, 1,000,000%. Even if he's like, go back to regular half guard. Yeah, if he can get this arm, he'll go for it, okay? So don't downplay the basics, you know, especially here. If you can get underhook on him or Kimura grip, even from deep half guard, he's looking for the same things. Underhook. Because if I can get my underhook, guys, I can start deconstructing this position. I can get my cross face, and look, I can start sprawling back. It's basically what we did earlier, right? Control the hip. I can even switch back to my knee cut. Say I have the cross collar. Even from the half guard, he can look for the choke. And finish, he can do it from 3/4 mount, you know. He can finish from there. If he manages to get to knee on belly. And there's been a few tournaments where he just won. This basic choke like that, he would just choke everybody out. And you'll see, like, once he gets his choke, and usually it's when his head starts to go down, it hits the mat, that's it. So I think that's the importance of having scoring, like we said, the knee cut scoring system. Score your points, and then go for the choke when you're ready. And then say you mess it up, you already have a 8-point lead. All right, that's fine. And also, you know, knee on belly, you get points. Just make sure, guys, you get your knee on belly. I'm doing this side. Hopefully, Ed's watching. You know, I got to bring this back leg up for my points, okay? If it's down, no points. So not only can you score 3, but you can make it 5 by getting knee on belly for 2, okay? So keep that in mind, guys. If you're competing IBJF or, you know, World Pro or anything, get those points. One thing Romulo is pretty good at, you know, once he gets the mount, usually he's going to go right hand in the collar. Uh-oh. And he's going like, I just call it hammer fist because it looks like a hammer fist. So you go on thumb inside, okay, and forearm on the face. From here he goes across collar. He'll do it both ways. So he'll do this choke here, but once he gets the mount, usually it's going to be like he switches his grip, palm down, thumb inside, here, and I go across. And you know, the way we used to show it, you go across and you drive your gi into their face. All right, make sure you get a close-up of Evan's face as I, yeah. And that helps you get a good angle on the other collar. And I'm pulling, for some reason, new people, man, it's so hard to teach them a choke because I don't know why it is, but I always think like karate class, you're pulling your arms in close to your body. All right, or almost like a pull-up. So you're pulling everything in close. You don't want to go elbows because, you know, it's not a glow stick party. Elbows in close, all right? So again, thumb inside, palm down, cross body. And if you can get your other thumb in, great, but usually we're just gonna go with the material. Elbows in tight, and I drop my head down, okay? And I'm shorter, so I start going into a tripod with my legs. And I just do that because once I get down, he's gonna start bridging. Okay, if I'm kind of close to him, he might be able to bridge me over. So have you roll back, yeah. So I don't want my hips engaged with his hips, so I go bridging, and now if he starts moving, okay. Did you know you guys need oxygen to move? Okay, yeah. Just checking in case. Under, yeah. This can be one of the more annoying guards to deal with, but it's gonna be kind of similar to what we did earlier, you know, hip control, knee drive, cross face, that works really well. You know, face crank works really well against this guard too, because he to use his single leg guard, he's got to start turning into me. But with the face crank, I can open him away. And you guys can't, I'm being really nice here, but usually it's like you're really forcing that. And even if he keeps the grip, if my leg comes out, look, now it's not helping him at all, right? And man, right there, right on the neck. Because the longer I stay here, the stronger that grip becomes. All right, so you gotta be ready, man. Even if he's got that, you know, you gotta really fight with your grips early on, okay? Don't just accept whatever they're doing, don't accept it. You need to start imposing your will, your grips on them. And usually, you know, when you're passing, he's either gonna turtle away from you, okay? Yeah, say he turtles away from me. I'm trying to slow him down, and my goal is gonna be to get the near side hook, guys. I'm not trying to get this hook here because I don't have control of his hips. If he rolls into me, go back, like roll your hips like flamethrower, you know, you can do that, yeah. It's just, I don't have a lot of control. So as he's turning, I'm trying to slow him down, and I'm trying to get my near side hook in, guys. Near side hook comes in, take the back. Other times the guy will turn into you. You know, you're passing, he'll start turtling that way, all right? You might even try to grab this leg, but look, I'm trying to sprawl, and I need to control his head. I want his head going down towards the floor, so I just push it down. I start to sprawl, and I go for his back here. And the reason behind this, guys, is because in tournaments, you know, he doesn't want me to get 3 points. He doesn't want me to control his side mount, so that's why he turtles. He's trying to avoid me getting points. So when he turtles, I don't get guard passing points, right? But he gives up back exposure. So he saved himself for a second, but now he's got to get out of this position. The only downside is if I'm really good here and I get my hooks, okay, I actually get more points, right? And I'm in a better submission position. Romulo's always switching his grips, and he's posting. One post he does really often is on this rib, okay? So if he can't get the underhook, maybe he can't get the pant, he'll start posting on the rib, okay? And that's just a good place to post. Keeps this arm out of trouble, you know, it's not, and it's doing something, all right? It's always doing something. But you should always be testing, seeing where the openings are. Trying to open up your partner, see if there's a weakness somewhere. Oh, he let me get my knee on the floor. Okay, I'm gonna switch to face crank. Boom. Or if he's going for the lapel, all right, I better start knee driving. And I just call that active posting. It just gets you in the thought process of defending early or preemptively before they get, you know, they get really good grips or a good position. You're already kind of in a good position. Oh, let me come here. Oh, I better pull his hip. Oh, that didn't work. All right, let me go back. All right, making a lot of adjustments. If you watch the best knee cut artists, there's probably 3 top knee cut artists. You got Lucas Lepre, Leandro Lo, R.I.P. Leandro, and then Romulo. And usually one thing in common those guys all have is that they're always adjusting. You know, Lucas, I feel like he uses more of his hips. You know, oh, he got you, boom. It's never really a big move. Maybe even Leandro, he would do bigger movements. But it's all in the setup, you know? It was never just one setup and then they went. It was probably like 20 micro adjustments. And that just goes back to this, guys. Just kind of going off what your partner's giving you, and then when you see an opening, he does, you just do something, Evan. So it's not like they always have the answer, it's that they're always searching for solutions. I think that's what makes them good. All right, guys, that's good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Eddie.